hello. It is reading wrap-up time. So exciting. This is not going to be that exciting. Only read 3 books, and one of them was a picture book. Picture books count in my book. Especially because I reread them multiple times. And I just wanted to have a record that I read it and what I thought about it. I had a really long day. And it's only 5 o'clock. And I'm ready to go to bed. And I can't because I still have stuff to do. Alright. So, the first book I finished this month is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. This is a horror manga, a little chunky, but oh my gosh. I always talk about how, like, it's very difficult for me to open up to a random page in a Junji Ito book and not be horrified. But anyway, I gave this 4 stars. I really liked it. It was very creepy and disturbing and interesting. And I really liked the ending. It's not because of like the nature of the ending. It's just like it felt very complete, like it made sense. And I felt like the story was going somewhere. So like this has an overarching plot. So basically what's happening is we're in this town and this town is infected by spirals. And so like the residents are getting increasingly obsessed with spirals. So we're going to different parts of the town to see how different people are being affected by the spiral. Some people are just like becoming extremely obsessed with the shape. Some people are turning into snails. Some people are being consumed by a spiral. Some people are turning into spirals. And our main character, she like her boyfriend is like, this town is infected with spirals, you know, and she's like, you're crazy. And then like she has this incident where she is infected by a spiral, like in her hair, and her hair just keeps growing and like twisting itself into these spirals, and then it ends up needing to be cut off before it like eats her or something. And then she's like, okay, something's going on, something's extremely weird is going on. And so they're trying to get out of the town. They can't get out of the town, and it's really fun. So I want to show you some of this artwork because the artwork is amazing, but I want to show you something disturbing because you may not be into that. So here we have our main character on the phone with her boyfriend. He's very intense, very interesting. Really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to reading more by Junji Ito, which is good because I have a lot of Junji Ito manga right now. It's right up my alley, a little gross, but so fun. So the next book I finished is this one. I saw one of my friends read this on Goodreads, and I was like, this is really cute. So I picked up Fluffy McWhisker's Cuteness Explosion. This is by Stephen W. Martin, and it says Explosions by Stephen W. Martin and Cuteness by Dan Tavis. So cute. And basically what this book is about, it's about this cat, and this cat is so cute that people explode when they see him. And the cat is so distressed. So the cat like goes to this like deserted island and like gets his food airlifted to him. We don't know how the cat is doing this. It doesn't matter. It's cute. And one day he runs into this dog and he's like, oh my gosh, I don't want this dog to die. And this dog is also hiding out on this island for the same reason, because he's so cute. And then like they form a friendship at the end because they're both the cutest cat and the cutest dog in the world. They're like immune to each other and they can be friends. So adorable. Give it 4 stars. Could have had more plot or something. I don't know. But anyway, I just want to show you the first couple of pages. It says Fluffy McWhiskers was cute. Dangerously cute. So this lion sees him. And then he explodes. It is so cute. So, yes, I like stuff like this. It makes me happy. So cute. Alright, so the last book I read is the reason why I only read 3 books this month, which I'm not going to be mad about only reading 3 books. It's not because I only read 3 books. It's the reason why I only read 3 books, okay? And the last book I read was an ebook, and it was Rhapsodic by Laura Talassa. Basically wanted to DNF this from 30% on. Well, from 30% to 75%. And by the time I got to 75%, it's like, either finish this book or quit. Okay. Because I kept going back and forth. I just didn't like it. And I think I didn't like it because this is paranormal romance. I gave it 2 stars. I hated it. Basically, it's about this girl. She's a siren and she killed her stepdad. And so in order to, because her stepdad was like a really popular seer. And so he had, you know, enemies and people who loved him and people who would miss him. And so she was afraid that she wouldn't get treated right by the system. And so she makes a deal with a Fae King who goes by the Bargainer. And so the Bargainer cleans up the mess for her, and he does it for free because at the time she's 15. And he enrolls her in some kind of supernatural private school, some kind of supernatural boarding school. And when she's 16, she calls on him because people are calling and like asking questions about her stepdad. And so this time he gives her a bead, because each bead she has like an IOU. And so the story goes back and forth between 8 and 7 years ago and the present, which I hated because I don't think it was done well. Also, I did not care about the past plot line after a while. But anyway, so yeah, basically this is a romance book with 2% paranormal plot. I was actually pretty interested in the paranormal plot, unfortunately, since this was romance first, which I didn't know that going in. If I had known that, I probably still would have picked it up because it sounded interesting, but maybe I would have DNF'd it sooner. I don't know. But basically the first half of the book, basically nothing happens. And then we get like a tiny, tiny hint, which is the only reason why I kept going. Or maybe it happened a little before then, but like something interesting happens. And then there's just, it's like this book is 99% will they, won't they? And the reason why they won't doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like the Bargainer obviously really likes the Siren. Siren obviously really likes the Bargainer, but she's like, you broke my heart, but I still had feelings for you. And he's like not telling her how he feels for some reason. Like there's no reason for it. He's just like, well, oh, you were like mad at me, so I thought I'd give you some time to work that out. And it's like, she probably would have stopped being mad at you faster if you told her. So there was just no reason. And also, like, I don't like when people, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I don't like when people use rape as a plot device. It's kind of like, there are other reasons to kill your stepdad. Like, there are a lot of other reasons. Like, it could have been an accident. He could have been abusive in other ways. It's like, her being raped has nothing to do with the plot, you know? And the story starts right after she kills him. So, and she never goes into detail at any point of the story, which is totally fine. Okay. But like, it was not necessary. And I'm always like a little irked and like a little peeved when it's not necessary. You could tell it's not necessary because it really doesn't even affect her plot. Like, that's not the reason why she doesn't want to get close to the Bargainer. She has a few nightmares, but you can have nightmares for other reasons. And I'm just like, I don't know. It doesn't really seem like this needed to be a thing that happened to her. It seemed like the author was using it to try to make me feel sorry for her because her main character is a bitch. Obviously, I didn't like her. And I liked the Bargainer, but I didn't care. The only person I really liked was the Thief of Souls. And unfortunately, that was such a small part of the plot. Like, I just don't think I could continue with the series. Like, keep in mind, romance is my least favorite thing that I'm still willing to read, because I do like it sometimes. And I like a romantic subplot. I just don't like it when that's like the whole book, especially when it's a paranormal book. And I really like the other paranormal elements. Also, let me get my notes because I wrote some stuff down that I think I want to mention. Right. So one of the other reasons I gave it 2 stars, basically what I wrote down was that I hated the writing. And I did. I hated the writing. I hated the narrative style. I didn't like the voice for the main character. I thought it was too much. Do you know what I mean? Like the author's trying too hard to make the character sassy, and I'm like, you don't have to try that hard if she's actually sassy. It's like the main character does not have like her own personality. She only has personality that was forced upon her, whatever the author thought would be fun. And again, I know you might be thinking, well, isn't that what all writers do? Maybe, you know, but I like it when it's done in a way that it feels organic, or it feels like this character popped up in their heads. This is the way I write. A character pops up in my head and they have their own personality. And I just kind of go with what shows up. I don't like inflict anything on them. And so I kind of don't like it. I don't like when things are inflicted on a character. I like it when it feels like something that actually happened, when it feels like something that was necessary to the overall story, okay? And even though this is a little mean, I ended my notes by saying I have standards. This does not meet them. So rude. Anyway, that's just how I feel, okay? And I need to do a better job of not letting the higher rating for romance books sway me. This has over 70,000 ratings, and it's at 4 stars currently on Goodreads. And I'm just like, first of all, it's a lot of ratings. Second of all, I'm obviously not the target audience for this book, okay? Also said in my notes that I wanted to DNF almost every day. This just left a bad taste in my mouth. I really wanted it to be over. And let's just move on. So obviously my favorite read for the month was Uzumaki. I mean, obviously I also love this, but you know, this is longer and more in depth and very interesting. So gross. I love Junji Ito. It's just fascinating. All right, so let's talk about what's on my TBR for December. I put 7 books on my TBR. But 2 of them are not books that I'm trying to finish in December. They're just books that I'm going to be reading / listening to in December. And if I get done with them, great. But I'm not going to, like, be trying to get done with them. If that makes sense. So technically, there's only 5 books on my TBR because I want to read 75 books this year. And so I only have 5 books left to read to get to 75. So that's not my reading goal. My reading goal was 53. But I'm like, why not get to 75 if I can? So, the first book that's on my, I'll be listening to this book this month, but if I don't finish it, it's not a big deal. And that's Lasher by Anne Rice. This is book 2 in the Mayfair Witches trilogy. I'm on an audiobook break because I have to take breaks from listening to audiobooks from time to time. But I plan on picking this audiobook back up this month. And if I get done, great. And if I don't, it's okay. And I'm making good progress on it, and it's interesting. It's just like we're in a lot of different heads, and multiple point of view books are a little hard for me sometimes. Like, I just feel like there's a lot going on, and I like a more contained book. But again, The Witching Hour, multiple point of view is one of my favorite books of all time. So, but I want to get back to listening to this book this month. And the other book I want to start reading this month is this one. It's the 1619 Project. And it says it's created by Nicole Hannah-Jones. And my uncle was telling me this, one of my uncles was telling me about this book over Thanksgiving. And normally I don't read stuff like this. I don't really like books that deal with racism and stuff. But he was saying that it's like poems and essays and stories from 1619, I think, to 1773, just kind of like rewriting the history of like Black people in America that's not like just slavery. And I thought that sounded nice. It would probably be good for me to read more stuff like this. So this is historical nonfiction, and I'm wanting to expand and like be more open-minded and not avoid stuff like this just because I think it's going to make me uncomfortable. And I'm like, maybe it will help something. Maybe it will grow. It was on sale on Black Friday. And I was like, technically this book is free. So I decided to go ahead and pick this up. And it's very pretty. So I want to start reading it this month. And it's a little dense. But I think I will like it. Maybe. We'll see. We'll talk about it when I get done. But I don't know how long it's going to take me to read it. But I'm going to get started on it soon. This is going on my couch. And so, yeah. Also, just look at the naked hardcover for a second. Do you see that? It says 1619 on here. Just little details. So now that the books are officially on my December TBR, I didn't play the TBR game. Because Rhapsodic put me in a very bad mood, and I kind of feel like I'm in a slump because of it, which is why I need to do better about DNFing books, even if I'm 50, 60, 70% in, because it's so not worth it. But I just want like some fun stuff to read because I'm just feeling, my brain is feeling battered. So And I say that, and the first book on my ebook TBR is The Other Black Girl by Zakia Dahlia Harris. Don't normally read books like this either. It's about this woman named Nella, and she is a black woman working in the publishing industry, and apparently there's not that many people of color that work in publishing. I think that's probably goes without saying. But she is an editorial assistant, and one day a new black girl comes in for an interview, and she gets the job, and she's so excited because she's like, oh my gosh, we can like talk about like, you know, what it's like to be a person of color in publishing, and I'll have somebody who understands me and blah, blah, blah. But I think like something sinister is going on. And I think the blurb says something about one day, like a threatening note shows up on her desk that says, leave now. And based on reviews, and this is why I actually ended up picking this book up, because again, normally if I think something's dealing with racism, I'm like, no thanks. But the reviews are kind of all over the place, which is always a good sign when it comes to me. And people are saying that it gets really weird. And so I'm like, hey, if it's weird and I don't know what's going on, because I didn't want to read too much. I didn't want to accidentally get spoiled. But it sounded like whatever was going down was like really, really strange. And so like the description for this book is saying like the devil wears Prada, you know, but like in the publishing industry meets Get Out. But people in the review section were like, don't listen to that at all. But if you do listen to one, it's more like Get Out. And so like the beginning of this book, the author's like, she's going like, there's like a lot of like references to black things, and some of them I get and some of them I don't. But I feel like she's almost trying too hard to convince me that the main character is black. And based on the Get Out description, it's making me a little suspicious. Now, I don't know what's going on, and maybe I shouldn't be suspicious, especially not of Nella. But I'm a little suspicious, okay? Because I'm like, why are you trying so hard to convince me that she's black? Or maybe the author just went overboard with the black references because she was just having a field day or whatever. I'm like, I guess I understand. But it just feels like it's she's putting it on a little hard. And I don't know if she did that because she could, or if she did that because it's a sign of things to come. But anyway, I'm about 10% in right now. I'm a little over 10%. About 50 pages in, I think. And it's interesting so far. I can't relate that much to the main character. I don't know, I like her. And, you know, the author so far is doing a good job of making me suspicious of everybody, including the main character. So right now, I'm like, is somebody wearing a mask? Like, is there like a microchip situation going on? Is there like a Get Out situation going on? Like, I don't know what's going on. But right now, I'm here for it. So, yeah. But I don't know how to categorize this yet. So I don't know, because I think this is like categorized as like suspense, thriller, horror. And I'm like, I like horror. So I picked up the ebook. I'll let you know how it goes. So the next book on the TBR is this. This is The Nightmare Before Christmas, Animated Classics. And it's just a fun kind of retelling of the film. And so we're going through the plot in the film, and there's like some fun artwork in here, and I thought this would be really fun to read closer to Christmas because I've been Scrooge lately, like Scrooging pretty hard. Okay. So like almost to the point I'm like, maybe I do need to be visited by 3 ghosts, you know? I think that would be really fun actually, but like the ghosts from the Christmas Carol, not like real ghosts, okay? But anyway, I think this would be really fun, and maybe, I don't know, make me feel more happy about the holidays or something. So, yeah. And also, you might be thinking, didn't you just read this, Crystal? No, I read a illustrated version of the poem that Tim Burton wrote that the movie was based off on. This is basically a book version of the movie. It's totally different. Next, I want to read this. This is Beneath the Moon, and this is Fairy Tales, Myths, and Divine Stories from Around the World. Also, thank you for the Oxford comma. And this is by Yoshi Tani. And we know I love fairy tales over here, but when I was randomly flipping through this, oh my gosh, look at what I found. This is Turn Dot. I'm dying to actually read like a little short. It's very short. It's 1 page, but I'm dying to read this. Okay. I just want like a short synopsis of Turn Dot. And there's like all this other stuff in here, you know? And Turn Dot, it has the origins here, China and Arabic folktale. And I just thought it would be really interesting. You know, we have stuff from Norway, and we have stuff from Nigeria, and stuff that is Danish, and more Chinese stuff. And I just thought this was really interesting. We have an Inuit fable, The Woman Who Was Kind to Insects. I need to read that. But I have Turn Dot marked because I want to read that one first. So I thought this would be really nice, you know, like healing for my brain after reading something that I hated. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm gonna start this soon. And also, yes, we have like these gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous illustrations, and I'm very excited about this. I don't even know where I found out about this. I think I just saw it somewhere and picked it up anyway. And then next, I have The Wit and Wisdom of Bridgerton. This is Lady Whistledown's official guide by Julia Quinn. And I thought this looked like it was really fun. We have a table of contents that goes through everything Lady Whistledown has said about all these different characters. And I'm assuming this covers more than one book, but I don't know. But I thought this would be really fun to read. And this came out, I think, just a couple weeks ago. I'm also going to start reading this soon. I'm probably going to be reading a couple of these at a time. But just look at how gorgeous this interior is. We love, like, good attention to detail over here. So I haven't read any of these books, but I do like the show. I like some drama. I like some good melodrama in my historical TV shows. So I picked this up, and this is beautiful. So I'm looking forward to this because I need something fun, you know? And then the last book on my TBR is this book of poems. It's The Lost Bells by Robert McFarlane and Jackie Norris. And this is really beautiful edition. It has a ribbon bookmark. Has this gorgeous end paper and this really nice cloth texture. These butterfly wings. I'm gonna drop this book on my face. Anyway, on the front and on the back, so pretty. So I thought this would be fun because it's mostly pictures, mostly beautiful art, and also little poetry about animals and flowers and I don't know, maybe some other plants. I don't know. But I thought this would be very soothing, and I'm excited. So, yeah. So I thought this would be a good way to end the year, because I just feel like I ended last year with some reads that were, they were like 3-star reads, so they weren't bad, and I didn't hate them by any stretch, you know, and I liked them. And I really enjoyed them for the most part. It's just, they were not like my favorite. So I just wanted to end this year on like a better note, you know, like maybe a later note, a more fun note, so I could enter the next year like with some reading energy. Not that I didn't have reading energy this year. Obviously, I read a lot of books this year. I'm just saying. I don't feel like I ended last year on the best reading note, nor did I start this year on the best reading note. My first read of this year was 2 stars, so I just thought, you know, the 1619 project aside, I just thought these would be like really fun ways to end the year, you know? And just like a nice palette cleanser, you know, so I can, you know, pick up some fantasy books that I started reading this year that I haven't finished yet because I got kind of burnt out or whatever on fantasy somehow. Yeah. So I'm excited, and yeah, let me know if you've read anything good or not good, anything you want to share. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. And I hope your month is getting off to a good start. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye.